Okay, hi there. Hello, coaches. Thanks for allowing to record this session just for our own reflective educational purposes. Thanks once again for joining us, and I'm expecting some more to join as well, either. But normally, what we'll do is we will kind of lock the room after some time. So we will do that. Thanks for joining us, Hyder. Thanks for your time today. Thanks for making it a wonderful morning. And to the coaches, you can leave your cameras on. It's going to be more engaged session, and Hyder is going to be telling us, sharing with us, and probably by the end of an hour or 90 minutes, you're all going to be uh, really pumped up to really go out there and start speaking to people publicly. So, who is Hyder? Hyder Taufik is a public speaking and peak performance coach from CCL. Most of us know CCL, Coaching Changes Lives. As a coach, trainer, and keynote speaker, Hyder has made a difference to executives across multiple levels, from organizations with different type of industries, BFSI, technology, and whatnot, right? Some of them to name here: JP Morgan, Pearson, AIA, Great Eastern, SingX, Moody's Analytics, Nexia, and many. It's not only those organizations, it is also the educational institutes. The student leaders is another area of Hyder's interest. So he has coached people from NTU, SMU, SIM Global Education, EASB. As a public speaking coach, Hyder has accumulated over 25 awards. I'm not going to ask Hyder how young he is or how old he is. 25 awards. He does not look that old to get 25 awards, right? My envy, Hyder. Hyder is the author of 5 Golden Keys to Charisma: How to Gain an Unfair Advantage of Charisma Over Your Competition and Charm Your Way to Successes, as well as Reset and Recharge, Simple Stress Mastery Strategies to Power Up Your Productivity. As part of the team of Coaching Changes Lives, Asia's leading team leadership coaching and coaching training organization, Hyder's passion is to uncover the most coveted strategies of world-class peak performers and share them with the masses. He enjoys training millennials. I think he himself is a millennial, if I'm not mistaken. TED speakers, entrepreneurs, and international students to find their innate superpowers and leave a lasting impact to the world. And he is here to leave such a lasting impact to all of us as well. Let's welcome Hyder with a big round of applause. And over to you, Hyder.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Suresh. And thank you to every single one of you here for being here on a Saturday morning to learn something new and to gain new insights, right? This already puts you ahead of the curve when it comes to being part of your industry. Because who here comes on a Saturday morning when they can be out going for a walk, and then you have to end your walk with your dog so early and then come here and learn some tips about public speaking of all other topics, right? So
That's real.
yeah, only Braille, right? So I'd like to also invite all of you to give yourselves a round of applause, and also to give a round of applause to the organizing team today, Suresh and James and the team. Let's give them a round of applause for organizing this. Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here. Nowadays, because we are using Zoom, we don't even have to raise our hands to clap, right? We can just click on the applause button. How easy is right now very lazy, right? We don't even have to clap, we don't have to use our hands to clap, we just press a button and we can already have an applause, right? Very weird, right? So okay, so today's topic, right, is mastering public speaking in a post-COVID world. Now, when we talk about post-COVID, we don't mean that the COVID has ended, right, or rather the pandemic has ended, but rather living in a world where COVID is the norm, right? The onset of COVID it's already begun, right? And it's here to stay. And the world has changed. And as the world changes, the professional world changes, public speaking has also changed. So for today's segment, we're going to be focusing on how has public speaking has changed. And we're going to ask the question, how can you as coaches leverage on this opportunity, knowing that public speaking has changed, and how can you inculcate that into your professions as coaches? All right. So just a little bit of introduction about me. A lot of the heavy lifting has already been done by Suresh. So thank you very much, Suresh, for that introduction. So yes, Suresh is right. What I do currently is I certify public speaking coaches under ICF, and I'm part of the CCL or Coaching Changes Lives team. And I've spent about 9 years in the training industry and coaching industry. Yes, Suresh Suresh has said that I don't look that old, and that's because I have Benjamin Button syndrome. So I'm actually 97 years old, and that's where I have a lot of time to go and learn public speaking. Okay, so I age backwards. All right, so I'm very, very lucky to be one of those people. Okay, these are some of the things that I've done in the pre-COVID world. Okay, so I've trained TEDx speakers, I've joined public speaking competitions at national level, I've given trainings to university students, international students, and corporate programs as well. And here are some of the clientele that I've had the benefit of sharing my knowledge with. Okay, so by the end of this segment, my objective is three things. Okay, three very simple things. Number one is to run through with all of you what are the three myths about public speaking. Okay, and then we're going to talk about how do you improve your voice for public speaking. Okay, I'm going to give you some techniques that you can use regardless of which level you are at when it comes to public speaking. So if you're a novice, or if you've never done public speaking before, or you're a seasoned public speaker, you can use all these techniques to enhance and take yourself to the next level. Okay, and I'm also going to give you 5 tips to succeed at online public speaking. So there's not going to be a lot of opportunities for us to do public speaking in person. So I'm going to give you the tips that are relevant for online public speaking. Okay, sounds good, right? Okay, everyone give me a thumbs up. Okay, Brill already give me a thumbs up very, very early. Okay, very nice. Okay, then after that, I'm going to leave around 10:15. I'm going to have some time to do Q&A. Okay, so I'd like to invite the help of our organizing team to just take note of all the questions that are in the chat later, so you can remind me to answer them before the end of the session, all right? Because I won't be looking at the chat. Okay, all right. So all of you have done the mentee survey, I hope. So let's take a look at some of the results of this mentee survey. So I'm gonna do a very quick screen switch here. And we're gonna take a look at some of the results that you all have submitted. Okay. All right. Now, if you're still doing the survey, you can still continue, right? No worries. Okay. So I asked 3 questions. Let's take a look. What comes to your mind when you think about public speaking? So we have a bit of a word cloud here. The biggest words are the ones that are popping out more than once, right? The repeated themes within this group today. So what? Nervous. At the center of it, nervous. Very nice. Okay. All right. So public speaking is about communication. Confidence, fear is a big one. Okay, interesting. Then we see a lot of other words here, right? Connecting, clarity, awesome, trepidation, presentation, big group, energy, courage, frightening. Okay, rapport, chance, eye contact, expertise, panic. Okay, so we see a lot of synonyms related to fear, okay, which is very natural, and it's something that I will acknowledge in this segment as well. All right, but we see a key theme here, right? Nervous at the center. Okay, I've never met a person who's never felt nervous when it comes to public speaking before. Okay, I feel nervous even while I'm sharing with you right now. So I can totally understand what you mean. Okay. So when it comes to public speaking, which of these statements describe you best? Ooh, okay. So we have about 4 people who say they enjoy public speaking. 12 people say, I don't enjoy it, but I want to improve and be good at it. And that's why you are here, isn't it? Right? I don't enjoy it, but I have to do it as part of my work. Okay, 5 people. Okay, 1 person said, I don't enjoy it and I'm not keen to improve on it. Okay, thank you for your honesty. And 5 people said, oh, I'm neutral about it. Okay, very nice. Okay, so you can see here that majority of us, at least in this group, right, we don't enjoy public speaking. Okay, but it's a reality that sometimes in our careers, we cannot escape. It's something that we need to know we can do when we are called to do so. But when we don't have to do so, there's a lot of inertia to want to do it, right? Like nobody puts themselves out there willingly to do public speaking. No one is insane enough to do that and put themselves out there. But there are a few key people who do that, and we salute them for it, but they are the minority, right? And if we were to take a look at this, right, what are you hoping to learn from today's session, right? To gain courage, how to improve, improve, improve. Okay, very good. You're in the right place if you're here to improve. You learn from experts and their experiences, okay, to get rid of stage fright and be confident in public speaking. Okay, so from this session, I cannot guarantee that you will completely get rid of your public speaking fright, but I will give you some tips on how you can start the process of doing so, right? Because the title of today's talk is Mastering Public Speaking in a Post-COVID World. And the process of mastery, you cannot achieve it in one segment. You cannot achieve it in one workshop. You attend 1.5 hours workshop, you listen to me, and suddenly, boom, magic! You can do public speaking so confidently, right? You can beat me, and then now you can start wearing red blazers and start giving Zoom seminars with thousands and thousands of people. Okay, not necessarily the case, right? But I will do my best to try to address all your concerns here today, okay, and how to be better, right? So no worries. You will definitely have some takeaways on how you can improve your public speaking skills by the end of today. That is my promise to you. Does that sound good? Right? Give me a thumbs up if it sounds good. Right? Very nice. I love the interaction. Okay, so let's go back to the slides. Okay, so let's begin. So let's talk about public speaking. Now, it helps that we all share a common definition of what public speaking is, or a working definition, right? Because everyone has a different idea of what public speaking is. Just like as coaches, a lot of people have different ideas on what coaching is, right? So people think coaching is like mentoring, it's like therapy, or it's like counseling. What's the difference? It's all the same, okay? But even public speaking as well. So when we want to talk about public speaking, we want to also share a common definition of what public speaking is. And for this particular segment, we're going to go with this definition, and that public speaking is about getting a message across to a group of people. Okay, so from this definition alone, just by me sharing here on Zoom, I'm already doing public speaking. Just by me sharing to maybe a group of 5 people, as opposed to 20 people, as opposed to 100 people, all of it are examples of public speaking. Okay, because it's just simply getting a message across to a group of people, right? How many of you have attended all the ICW talks this week, right? Right? International Coaching Week, yes. You've been to all the talks, yes, right? So you have experience. These are all public speakers, right? They're doing public speaking here on Zoom. So you don't necessarily need to speak on a stage to do public speaking. You don't necessarily need to stand on a circular rug and have the words TED on stage for you to do public speaking. Okay, you don't necessarily need to have a big audience in an auditorium for you to do public speaking. Okay, because it's simply getting a message across to a group of people. So how is it relevant to us as coaches? All right, I would say 3 simple reasons. Okay, number 1 is to be recognized as an authority figure. All right, there is a difference when you are the speaker as opposed to when you are in the audience. There's a difference. Right? Of all the coaches in the ICF community, how many of them are actually the speakers for the events, and how many are in the audience? All right. So if you are the speaker, automatically people already attach you with a certain level of authority, credibility, okay, and influence, right? And automatically you have that recognition. because you are a speaker, because you are out there giving the segment, right? Or holding the workshop or the seminar or the webinar. All right. Now, public speaking can also help you build trust with your potential clients, especially when you are out there speaking about your expertise, speaking about coaching or life coaching or executive coaching or all the different niches that you are good at. When prospects come to you or when clients come to you and say, hey, that's my coach, legit, my coach giving the talk, right? That's my coach, right? They feel very proud. And that will build trust with people who are already interested in you, right? They may not have engaged your services yet. They may still be considering, should I get uh, Catherine, or should I get James, or should I get Braille, or should I get Hazel, or should I get Raymond, right? They are considering all these people. So when you are there on stage, automatically, that is a plus point for you, right? And it gives you that opportunity to showcase your skills to a mass audience. Okay, all of you are coaches, right? At least most of you are coaches, right? I think this is because this is a coaches community. I would assume all of you are coaches here. How many of you, right? Show of hands, or show of thumbs, right? You can click on the emoticon, right? How many of you are confident in yourself to do live coaching in front of an audience? Okay, give a thumbs up if you're confident to do a live coaching in front of an audience. Okay, so I see a few people. I see Danny, Braille, okay, Agnes, yes, James as well. Okay, Faith, okay, Jasmine earlier. All right, so okay, Jocelyn as well. So very nice. Okay, so about half of you, right? About a number of you, okay, are able and are brave enough to showcase your skills to a live audience, and brave enough or courageous enough to make mistakes, right? And sometimes put yourself on the line or put your skills on the line. Now that takes a lot of guts. And to do it in front of an audience, that's already immediately a plus point. If you can do that really well, okay, that already boosts your credibility so much. Okay, so when you have that advantage or that advantage of public speaking, you can go places, right? You can do many things that most of the people in your industry are just not equipped to do or just not willing to do, right? They may feel like, okay, maybe I should try, but sometimes fear holds you back. All right. And because of that, I want to share a little bit about why I got into public speaking. Okay. So I started public speaking, I wouldn't say very early in my life, but it started all the way when I was in secondary school. When I was in secondary school, I was a very socially awkward student. I had a lot of insecurities. I was a very skinny kid. And I was very good at one thing, which is writing. But I had a lot of trouble trying to translate my words that I wrote into a speech. Okay, it was very difficult for me to um, um, eloquently express myself in front of class, right? Even just to ask for an eraser with the person beside me, just to ask for an eraser, I feel nervous already. Okay, and that was how insecure I was when it comes to speaking. So what changed my life, or what was the turning point, was that I won an essay writing contest, and my teacher picked me to read out my essay to the entire school during morning assembly, all because I won the contest. Okay, so I was punished for winning. All right, and I had to stand in front of the whole school and give my essay as a speech to the entire school. It was a 5-minute speech. I gave it in 1 minute. I rushed through my speech and I made a complete fool out of myself. And what was worse was that some people in the front row were like, giggling and saying, is this guy for real? Okay. And that, I would say, was the most humiliating experience of my life. My self-esteem was already the negative. Now it was rock bottom. But that was the leverage point. And I told myself, you know what? I was so traumatized that I would never put myself in that position ever again. So, will I take up public speaking? Absolutely not. So what I did was I started to go on a journey to slowly build up my confidence. I told myself, if you're afraid of something, right? If you're afraid of one thing, you should put yourself in that and fully immerse yourself in that. So I tried a lot of things. I picked up martial arts, right? Because I was afraid of confrontation. I was afraid of being in a fight. I was so skinny, I get pushed around a lot. So I put myself in martial arts and made myself train hard enough so that I can represent the school. And then I put myself in theater, right? Because I was always afraid of the stage. I had a lot of stage phobia because of that incident. Okay, so I taught myself how to act and how to put on a face, all right, how to be a certain way. Okay, and then I learned all the other skills for me to build up my confidence as well, writing, language, so on and so forth. Okay, the only time when I finally got down to being involved in public speaking was when I was in national service, and by the time I was 18 years old. And here's the thing, when I started public speaking, the surprising thing was not that I finally started. The surprising thing was that I started to grow really, really quickly. Okay, I started to advance really quickly in my public speaking skills. Okay, of course, I did have a base of confidence, but it was really surprising to see my growth, or rather, an exponential growth in public speaking to the point where I started winning awards and all that. So I turned my life around fairly quickly. And this is not to brag, but I did a few things, right? In fact, I did three things that accelerated my growth in public speaking. Okay, do you want to know what those three things are? Do you? Okay, so if you want to know what those three things are that I did, right, uh, you are encouraged to stay all the way until the end of today's segment because I'm not going to give you my secrets away too quickly, because I know some of you like, this talk like not interesting. Then I go for breakfast, okay, or turn off my video. I can do something else, but I want you to pay attention. Okay, so I'm gonna give you those three things, and I'm not gonna tell you when I'm gonna give you, right? But if you stay all the way until the end, I guarantee you will know those three things. Okay, so that's my promise to you. Now, if I forget, please remind me. Okay, to share what are those three things that I did to accelerate my progress in public speaking. Okay, so let's move on. Let's talk about some myths about public speaking. Now, for this segment, I'd like to invite all of you to not unmute yourself. You don't have to. Okay. So I'd like to invite you to use the chat function. Okay, use the chat function, and very simple, right? In this chat function, I want you to I want you to answer these questions. Okay, so I'm gonna show three statements on the slides. Okay, three statements, and I want you to put in the chat T or F. All right, true or false. Do you think this statement is true to you or false to you? Okay, and we're going to see how many people think this is true, how many people think it's false. Are we ready? Okay, let's begin, right? The first statement. First statement is, you need to be a professional speaker to do public speaking. All right, type in the chat box below T or F. Okay, a lot of Fs. Okay, F, 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 F. All right, so if you put F, you are in the right place. All right, if you put T, you're probably being a troublemaker. All right. Okay, F, F, F. All right, very nice. So I think we're all on common agreement here. All right, yes, this is a false statement. In fact, a lot of people believe this, right? You may think that, okay, all of you here think it's false, but a lot of people outside, especially coaches, they believe this as well. I'm a coach. What for? I need to do public speaking. I'm not a professional speaker. I'm not a keynote speaker. I'm not a trainer. What do I need to do public speaking? Okay, now you don't have to be a professional speaker to do public speaking, just as you don't have to be a professional coach to do coaching. Okay, so what is the fact? The fact is you are already doing public speaking every day on Zoom. You are already doing public speaking every day on Zoom. Think about this. The difference between you and myself, for example, or the public speakers who are giving talks and all that, there's not much difference. When you are in your meetings, right, you are still using Zoom to talk. You are unmuting yourself and there's an audience. Most of them have their videos off anyway. Okay, so when it comes to public speaking, it's the same thing, right? It's pretty much the same thing. If you think about it objectively, you're doing the same things. Okay, next, Master speakers don't feel nervous before a presentation. True or false? True or false? Master speakers don't feel nervous before a presentation. Okay, Braille insists that to do coaching, you must be professional coach. Huh? Okay, good. All right. False, 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 but. Okay, Jasmine put false, but. Interesting. False. Okay, Danny says true and false. Okay. Okay. Master speakers don't feel nervous. True or false? Right. So most of you put false. Okay. And the answer, or rather the fact is that yes, it's false. Here's the thing, like no matter how good you are at public speaking, the nerves will still be there. And the nerves are there not because you're doing public speaking. The nerves are there because you are human. And at some level, you care about how people view you. Right? And you care about how you do. Right? You care about your performance. Okay? So at some point, no matter how good you are at public speaking, you will still feel the nerves. Okay? But the fact is, the nerves will be there. But as you get good, you will learn to handle it like a pro over time. Okay? Right? The nerves will be there, but you learn to handle it like a pro over time. Okay? So, when you want to learn about public speaking, embrace the fact that your fear is going to be there. Right? But probably at this point, maybe it's like a panic attack. But as you get better, it may move into a short headache or tummy ache. And after a while, it becomes an end bite. Okay, for myself, at the moment, it's more of an end bite. All right, and that's only because I've been doing this a while already. Just as how when you start out as coaching, right, there's a lot of nerves to it, right? You are thinking about your performance and you're really concerned about how you do. You want to get that breakthrough, right? Same thing for public speaking as well, right? But after a while, once you had enough coaching conversations, just as how you've had enough speeches, you tend to feel easier and easier about it, all right? Now, here's the thing. The best public speakers, they still feel nervous. But now, if you take a look at it, a lot of public speakers before pre-COVID, right? Pre-COVID, the public speakers who are so used to speaking on stage, now when they have to speak on Zoom, they are much, much, much more nervous. Why? What do you think? Right, Lindy, you're trying to say something? You can unmute.
I guess technology, like you have to do this, all this gadget thing. Yeah.
Yes, all this gadget thing. Okay.
Yeah, the coordination. Yeah.
Yes, right. That is definitely a very good reason to feel nervous, right? Oh, what if? How do I use the Zoom? Am I on mute? Or what's going to happen to my connection after 5 minutes? Okay, very nervous, right? We didn't have all these problems if you were public speaking when you were on stage. Okay. Now the thing about seasoned public speakers, now they are so scared because they are so used to having that audience feedback. They're so used to it. And they crack a joke, everybody laugh. They can hear people laughing, they can see everyone's expressions. But now, people have the privilege to turn their video off. And even if they're laughing at your jokes, you can't hear them. They're on mute. But you can see like, ha ha ha, right? Or maybe they put, like Danny, right? They put the laughing emoticon with the tears, right? Laugh until you cry. You sure or not you laugh until you cry? I don't see any tears, right? So, you have to understand that the game of public speaking has changed. So now you are pretty much at the same level as the ones who are the seasoned public speakers who are so used to this, right? For them, it's a whole process of unlearning and relearning. And they have to get used to the Zoom platform as well, just as all of you are learning to get used to the Zoom platform as well. Okay, so see yourself at an even playing field with all these seasoned public speakers. They also have to go through the same challenges as you, all right? And they are learning like you as well, okay? Like, third statement. with live events being cancelled, there are now fewer opportunities to do public speaking. You agree or disagree? Put true or false. All right, false or false, true or false, true. Okay. All right, true, false. Okay. All right. So for this particular statement, let me just ask Brill. Brill, what do you say, true or false?
Okay, so I think it depends on who is answering this question. So, for example, Ron Kaufman, if he has to answer this question, right, maybe in his perspective, he may have lesser opportunities because of the context of the way his business has been running for the last, I mean, he's an international speaker. Whether or not his clients are willing to go online, it takes a bit of getting used to. But for people like me, who is just a nobody, the answer is yes, because I can then do public speaking with almost anyone and everyone that I can engage online, right? So it's a new opportunity for me. But for what I call a seasoned speaker, where they have a traditional business that is already established, their channels are already established, then to move and pivot it online may be slightly different, I would say. So that's why I say it's true and false. So it depends on who is answering that question.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Brill. Okay. Very, very nice and very comprehensive answer. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Right. True or false. Both are relevant. Right. They can be true. Right. If you're a Ron Kaufman type, then it can be true for you. Right. But what I'm interested in is it true or false for you? Okay. So for
If
Brill,
I might take
it's
30
false. Yeah.
seconds,
Go ahead. Suresh.
respectfully disagreeing with Brill,
Go
if I
ahead.
may.
I would love to listen. Yeah.
What I'm seeing is, including Ron Kaufman kind of people. I like the way how Danny puts it across. Much more opportunities. Yes, what people like Ron Kaufman, like Tony Robbins, they came up with newer ideas to explore their reach. I've seen Tony Robbins doing Unleash the Inner Potential thing, the UPW thing that he always runs public. It had exploded to few thousands to millions when he started doing this and collaborated with Zoom to do it literally virtual. Right? It's all about seeing the opportunity and making the public speaking reach out to the outdoor. Just wanted to share. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Suresh. Right. Again, what we're hearing are the key themes, right? Opportunities, right? What are you doing with the opportunities that you're given? All right. So very nice. Okay. This is what Danny is stressing as well. So I think we are on that common agreement that ultimately it depends on what is your definition of public speaking. Okay. Because what is the kind of public speaking that you want to do? If you limit yourself to only do public speaking on stage, then you pretty much have no other not much opportunities. Okay, well, you can book a hotel room for yourself, and then you can promote an event with only 5 people all spaced out 5 meters away from each other. Then okay, if that's your thing, right, go ahead and do that. Okay, but if your definition of public speaking has expanded to include online webinars, Facebook Live, YouTube videos, all right, it depends on your creativity. What is your definition of public speaking? Okay, if you are willing to have that abundant mindset and see that opportunities are everywhere for you to speak and show yourself and put yourself out there, then the opportunities are abundant. Okay, right? So this is false, right? Because in fact, it's become much easier now to do public speaking. Okay, it's become more accessible to the general public. Okay, you don't have to necessarily be a public speaker. Okay, but you can do public speaking simply by turning on a Facebook Live. If you have a Facebook account, you can do that already. Okay, you can have a YouTube account, it's free. You can already do public speaking. Okay, you can do public speaking on Instagram, on TikTok, and all these other platforms as well. Okay, so it only depends on how willing are you to use all these devices or all these platforms at your disposal. Okay, so thank you everyone for your participation. And in fact, we've come to an agreement that the game of public speaking has changed. Okay, it's something that we have to adapt to. It's something that we have to embrace, and it's something that we have to accept as well. That public speaking, in fact, has become much more easier and even more important for us as coaches to seize this opportunity, right? To learn public speaking and put ourselves out there. All right. So here are some realities about online public speaking. As an online speaker, you're not entitled to your audience attention. Right? Now, this is true even for offline, but it's much more emphasized online. Okay, because as an online speaker, you're not entitled to your audience attention. And you know why? Because only a fraction of your audience will really be fully present and engaged. Especially when the speaker is the one doing all the talking. So if the speaker is doing all the talking, right, the audience will probably turn their video off. Okay, like we see many people in this room already doing. Okay, and they can be doing other things, right? Usually they're involved in other things. Sometimes, like for Hazel, she tends to listen to all these talks and then she's cooking at the same time. Okay, that's normal, and we can't fault Hazel for it, because all of us at some point we do the same thing, right? Sometimes we are doing our work, sometimes we are reading our emails while we are listening to the speaker, or sometimes we are going for a walk and we are listening to the speaker on Zoom on our phone. So we can't be on the video, but that doesn't mean we're not tuning in. So audience members tend to be engaged in other tasks when they listen in. And as a public speaker or an online public speaker, this is something that you need to really accept as a speaker. And accept that not everyone's going to pay attention to you, because they didn't have to travel a certain distance to go to a venue, to pay a ticket, to sit down and listen to you. So because the investment is not as much, the effort investment is not as much, okay, the attention is something that you can't really demand from the audience or expect out of them. Okay, and it's something that we just have to accept and use your creativity to find out how you can be more engaging and more creative for the audience. So one of the key ways is that even if, let's say, you are not confident in using all these tools like Menti and all these like Zoom or Microsoft Teams and all these other tools, right? You want to use something that you already have, and that is your voice. Okay, your voice is therefore essential to sustaining the engagement, because there will be people who don't see you on the screen, but they are listening to you. So your voice is now, I would say, even more important than your body language. Okay, especially for online public speaking. So at this point, we're going to give some tips, right? We're going to talk about how to improve your voice for public speaking. And we're going to do it the coaching way, as us coaches love, right? So I'm not going to give you direct solutions on how you can improve your voice. But what we're going to do is we're going to try practicing reading out a passage, and we're going to improve our voice and calibrate and learn to tweak our voice so that we appear more confident, more charismatic, and more clear to the audience, right? And we appear more credible. How do you use your voice to do this? So when you want to take a look at your voice, or when you listen to someone's voice, when you want to analyze someone's voice, or when you're coaching someone on voice, you can use a simple guideline. And I call this guideline the 4 Ps of vocal mastery. So if you want to get good at your voice, you only need to take a look at these 4 things. Okay, the 4 Ps. And what are they? The first is pace. Okay, pace. What is pace? What is pace? Unmute yourself if you know what is this. What is pace? Anyone?
How fast and slow?
Very good. Okay, how fast or slow? Thank you, Brill. All right, how fast or slow you're speaking. All right, what is the pace of your voice? Are you speaking really, really, really fast to the point where people cannot catch? Or are you speaking really deliberately? Pace. Alright. Next is pitch. Okay, what is pitch? What is pitch? Does anyone know what is pitch in your voice?
Intonation.
Okay, so what is intonation?
The high and low of your voice. Example, now I'm talking at a very low voice. I can also talk at a very high voice, something like that.
Thank you, Danny. All right, very nice. Okay, very good demonstration there as well. Okay, so pitch is if you measure pitch, it's in frequency, it's in hertz. Okay, so how high, or how low can you go very low speak in a baritone voice like Morgan Freeman. Okay, so how low can you go? So that's pitch, all right? So thank you, Danny, for that very nice demonstration there. Okay, Danny also can become public speaking coach. Okay, good. Next is projection. Projection. All right, now this one is something that a lot of speakers, they tend to get confused with, especially when it comes to Zoom, like how to project your voice. Okay, now projection still matters, even if you're speaking through a mic. Okay, it still matters. Now, projection is not volume. If people want to hear your volume, now people can increase their volume. If you're too loud, people can decrease their volume, or they can mute you because they don't want to hear you anymore, right? But projection in this case is how well your voice travels across. Okay, so this is much more important, especially if you're speaking in an auditorium. You're speaking on stage, then it's how far your voice can travel from your point on stage to the back of the room. Okay, how far your voice can travel. So it's not necessarily how loud you are. So you don't have to shout to project your voice. Okay, you don't need to be shouting to project your voice. You still can have a loud project. You still can project your voice without shouting. And in order for you to do that, it takes some training, okay? It takes some training and use of your diaphragm. So you want to speak, make sure that even when you're speaking here on Zoom, right? Very simple tip, make sure your posture is good. So when your posture is good, your breathing is good. When your breathing is good, your voice sounds very nice. If you're slouching, it's very difficult for you to really project your voice, right? Because people can hear the laziness in your voice when you're too relaxed, okay? As opposed to if you're really sitting upright, okay, and you allow the airflow to come out, okay? So this is projection. Much more important for live audience, but don't take it for granted when it comes to online, right? Because mic quality also matters, okay? Next is the last one. Next is pauses. Pauses. Something we are all very familiar with as coaches. Now, especially in public speaking, when you pause before saying something, you're giving the audience an impression that you're about to say something that's very important. Okay, how many of you heard the word important in your minds before I said it? Okay, the power of the pause. So that's how you can use pauses to your advantage. Before you say any important points, before you emphasize something that's very critical, pause before you say it. Okay, so let's do a very simple activity. Okay, don't worry, I'm not going to put you in breakout rooms for you to practice public speaking with each other. In fact, now that I think about it, maybe I should have done that. But anyway, this quote that you see on slide here, right, is a quote by Steve Jobs, which he took credit from his copywriter, Rob Siltanen. Okay, and this quote is from the very famous Think Different ad. I believe it's from 1996 or 1994. And it went viral. Okay, it was a commercial that Steve Jobs read out or narrated, and it went viral even during a time before social media. Before things went viral, this ad went viral. Okay, and one of the reasons which people, or rather speech analysis, they analyze this speech and they try to ask themselves, why did this ad went so viral? Okay, part of the reason was because Steve Jobs narrated the ad in a very, very nice pace, pitch, projection, and pauses. Right? So he had a very good voice when he narrated this ad. All right. So what we're going to do is very simple. I'm going to give you a very simple demonstration on how I would approach this particular text. Okay. And then I'm going to get some people to try and volunteer and just read out the text, right? You don't have to do public speaking, but just read out the text in your best pace, pitch, projection, and pauses. Okay. So I'm going to begin. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. But the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. All right. So, who would like to try? All right. So this is what's going to happen. When I get a volunteer, right? Very simple. Try to read out this passage in your best voice. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a live coaching. Okay, we're all coaches here, right? We're going to have a live coaching. Okay. And we're going to see how you can take your voice to the next level. Okay. Right? How we can improve your public speaking voice. So you don't have to do public speaking. You already work on your voice first. Sounds good? Right? Who would like to try?
Jasmine says Braille, so Jasmine put up her hand first, so she should go first.
Jasmine, would you be open to that?
Really no, because all the words that you put at front, Mentimeter, all of them are mine. So Brill, I nominate Brill. She has a very good voice.
All right.
Honestly, yeah.
All right. Okay. So it's very interesting to see that Jasmine would rather not volunteer, but she unmuted herself and did public speaking. She just did. All right. Okay. Who would like to try? Try. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Okay. If
I'll
you try.
Jasmine
Very
nominates me. I'll try. I'll take it on.
All right, Braille. Let's give Braille a round of applause. Okay. So Braille, anytime you're ready, go ahead.
I'm not ready because suddenly my tummy is running in circles.
That's natural. Once you know you do public speaking, that automatically happens.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't have an end bite yet. Okay, here. Let's start. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square hole, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify, or vilify them. But the only things you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
All right, let's give Braille a round of applause. Fantastic. Okay, Braille immediately muted herself after that. Right, you see that? Okay, this is public speaking, right? This is reality. Okay. Okay, so let's do this, all right? So let's ask Braille. Braille, how do you feel reading out that passage?
I told you I had cartwheels in my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. But it was okay. Except the last part, it was not the tone I wanted. Other ones who do wasn't the tone that I was thinking of.
Okay.
Because when you flesh this up, as you were reading, I was also reading with my own tone. And then the last line or the last part was something else I wanted to project, but I didn't manage to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to try that last line again? Okay. Unmute yourself.
I can try the last line again.
Okay.
Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who could do it or who do. Yeah, something like that. But that's the tone I was trying to emphasize, the ones who do. So, I mean, whether it's the same words or not, but I wanted to emphasize are the ones who actually do change the world. Yeah.
Okay. So of those 4 P's, right, remember, pace, pitch, projection, and pauses, which is the one that you believe that you can work on for yourself? Or you can start working on. Unmute yourself.
Okay, so you said pace, pitch,
Projection or pauses?
projection, or pauses.
Pauses.
I think pauses and pitch are the 2 areas, and even pace is also another one. But I think the first thing that I need to work on would be my pitch. And then first one I think I need to work on is my pause, and then my pitch, and then my pace. These are the 3 things. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So,
my assessment.
all right.
Tell me though.
So we see that you have some sort of a hierarchy, right? So some sort of a priority for which one you want to work on first, and then the rest. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one is
What did I say? Oh, I cannot remember. Pace, pitch, and not projection, but pace,
you said
pitch,
pauses first.
yeah, pauses. Yeah. Sorry.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Very nice.
Yes.
Okay.
I better
So
write this down.
I want to ask the audience. Okay, I want to ask the audience for everyone else. Okay, what of all those 4 P's, pace, pitch, projection, and pauses, which one did Braille do the best for you? What are her strengths? Is it pace, pitch, projection, or pauses? All right, write it down in the chat box below, right, and put plus. So if you think she did pause well, put pause plus, or projection and pause plus. Okay, right in the chat below. Let's help her. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, all right. So Braille, this is what the audience say, not what I say one. Okay, pace, 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 pitch, pace, all of them. Pitch, pace, pauses. Okay, interesting. All right. All right. So let's recommend
What
one.
do you say?
Sorry?
What do you say?
What do I say? What do I say is irrelevant?
No, it's relevant. You're one of the audience. You're my audience. Of
I'm the
course it's
trainer.
relevant.
All right. I will hold my feedback until last. Okay.
Yes.
So let's ask the audience as well one more question. What is the one thing that Braille can work on? Okay, so write it down. Is it pace, pitch, projection, and pauses? And put 1, pitch 1, or pause 1. Okay, so we see some pitch, pause, projection 1. Somebody put projection. All right. What do you think, Braille? Do you agree with the audience?
Yeah, I do agree with the audience.
Okay. All right.
It's based on it. If I'm just taking a very quick look. It's pause and pitch. These 2.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So my opinion. Okay. My opinion is that I totally agree. Right. So it's pause and pitch. Right. So your pace was good. Right. So what I want you to try, or how would I love you to improve, all right, is that certain keywords that you find that is very important or salient. If let's say you have a text like this, to highlight certain keywords so that before you make those points, you pause first, then you say it. So you create that impact. All right. And the second thing is, when it comes to pitch, all right, there's this thing called cadence. All right. So cadence is something that it's not here, but it falls under pitch. So what is cadence? Cadence is basically how you end off your words. For example, what's the difference between A and B? A is, here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs and square holes, the ones who see things differently. And here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers. What's the difference? I asked Brill.
From an audience perspective, the few things I catch are crazy ones, the misfits, rebels, and troublemakers. So because of the intonations, to me at least, is the pitch, I'm able to focus on the key areas that you want me to focus on. Whereas the previous one, if I may use the word monotonous, I can't really catch which is the important word in your sentence. So which is obviously not able to catch your key pointer.
All right. Okay. So the audience will have a feeling of something, but they don't know why that something is. But it all has to do with your voice. So in the first one, what I did was, here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers. So my pitch rises at the end of my words. And if you were to translate to text, what would be the text? Is it a full stop?
No, it's an exclamation mark.
Right? Exclamation mark or?
Right.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits. Okay, or what?
Question mark.
Question mark, yes, right? It sounds like I'm asking a question. Here's to the crazy ones. It sounds like I'm very uncertain about what I'm saying.
Okay.
Right? And that's all because I raise my intonation or my cadence at the end of my words. Okay? So when you want to create a statement, when you want to appear more credible, Barack Obama, he does this all the time. Right? It's not about a white America. It's not a black America. It's the United States of America. Can you imagine if it's the United States of America? Okay, like he asked a question, right? Right? So when you end off your words, your pitch, drop it. All right, especially when you want to end off a statement, all right, when you're making a credible statement. So this is something that not just for Braille, but all of you can try applying this. All right, and I hope this has been useful. Okay, let's give Braille a round of applause. Okay, thank you so much for that live coaching and being open to being a live client here in public speaking coaching. Let's move on. All right, the final run for this particular segment. All right, I'm going to give you 5 tips. 5 tips for you to succeed at online public speaking. No public speaking experience required. Celeste's very happy, yeah? Even though she's been doing public speaking already, she's no public speaking required. You still can apply these tips. Okay, let's take a look. First one, set yourself up for success. Okay, now this shouldn't be a tip also. This should be something that is common sense, right? But we all take this for granted. Before you go into a presentation or even a webinar, do the necessary tests, right? Come early, adjust your screen properly so you make sure that people don't just see half your face or you don't be like talking down to your audience, okay? So make the necessary adjustments. And as much as possible, I know it's very difficult now that we're all at home, but present in a distraction-free environment, right? Try to find a room or try to find a space or a time where you can adequately present, okay, or you can present effectively, all right? Okay, so make sure you do all the checks beforehand, right? So have those preparations. Next, have a pre-camera routine. So before you come online, before you even turn on your video, do the things that make you feel relaxed. Okay, listen to music, do your breathing, get into that state, right? Coaching, it's all about state management, right? Do the same for public speaking. Before you start coaching, before you start giving a speech, right? Manage your state first, right? Do the things that make you feel relaxed. Get a cup of tea, right? Whatever you need to calm yourself down, to calm your anxiety, calm your nerves, do it, right? So that you have a certain routine, a pre-performance routine before you start. Okay, for myself, I do like some shadow boxing in the background before I turn on my video. Make sure I don't sweat too much. Then I put on my jacket. So I have a certain routine as well that allows me to get into that zone to start. So when you start, remember that when you start every speech or presentation, you tend to feel very nervous because you don't know how to start and you tend to stumble upon your words. Now, this is a very key opportunity here because the first few seconds you start to speak, that is where you make that first impression on your audience. So you don't want to stumble before you actually get down to the gist of it. You want to start strong. And in order for you to do that, you want to have a good routine before you start. Okay? Next, improve your posture, all right? So this will help not just in your delivery, but how you look on camera as well, right? You will look better. So you want to make sure that you, when it comes to online presentations, you are positioned very nicely in the center of your screen. Okay, make sure you do your necessary checks, right? The best is make sure you have at least the top half of your chest that people can see, right? If it's just only your head, sometimes it's a little bit weird. It looks like your head is resting on a desk, okay? Like decapitated head, right? I call this decapitated head, right? So you want to adjust so that if you look at Suresh or James or Braille or Danny, very nice, okay? Celeste as well, Catherine as well, right? Very nice, okay? That positioning is perfect for you to start speaking. Okay, so sit upright, roll your shoulders back one time. Okay, try. Roll your shoulders back. Okay, sit wherever you are. Okay, and try to practice, right? You may not be speaking, but just try to practice the nice positioning of yourself before you start. Okay, all right, look at Annie. Very nice. Okay, so position your camera at the appropriate level and angle as well. So you don't want to talk down to your audience and you don't want to look up at your audience, and you especially don't want to try to avoid speaking through your phone. Okay, so you want to have that full view, all right, that full screen view. Number four is to acknowledge your audience members by name. Now, this is an advantage that you only have for online public speaking. You can't do this in a live audience. So use this to your advantage. Everyone's name is literally on the screen. Okay, so talk to Raymond, talk to Annie, talk to Rose. Okay, talk to Faith, talk to Elaine or Ramesh, right? Just say people's names, right? Because people love the sound of their name, right? Of course, don't use this for the sake of using it, but have an interaction with your audience. And this is a big advantage to doing online public speaking. It makes you more charismatic and much more confident as a speaker, especially for the people who are not, they have their videos off, right? Then you mention their name, then they shock. And that's how you know whether they are, if they listen to you, they're paying attention to you, then they will turn on their video, right? But if they're not, then you know that they're not listening. Or they will type something in the chat. Oh, sorry, I can't turn on my video now because I am on a walk or I'm driving. I say, okay, never mind. Please continue, right? All right, number 5. Last one is just smile. Smile and have fun. Okay, because when you're having fun and we're not worried about being perfect, you seem much more confident. You seem much more charismatic when you present yourself. And people can feel that through the screen. All right, you don't necessarily need to feel people's energy from the stage, right? You can even feel it from the screen itself. And that's the magic of having that positive look on your face. Okay, so when you come online and people see you for the first time, smile. Right? Smile, acknowledge people, say good morning, right? Have that interaction before your audience first. Warm up to your audience first before you even start. Okay, you don't need to always just be silent. Oh, so I cannot speak until Suresh introduced me, then I can speak. What nonsense is that, right? Have a conversation with your audience. Smile, have fun. Don't worry about being perfect. Okay, and that will translate into your performance when you speak, right? So just a summary, a good slide here for you guys to take a screenshot. Okay, 5 tips to succeed at online public speaking. Set yourself up for success. Have a pre-camera routine. Improve your posture before you start. Acknowledge the audience by name and just smile and have fun. And people would think that, you're not a professional public speaker, but you have that kind of confidence. And that is a huge advantage, not just for yourself, but for your career and for your self-esteem as well. Say, oh, I don't have to be a pro, but I can speak like a pro. Isn't that amazing? Right? All you need to do is just to improve tweak by tweak until you reach that level of mastery. Okay, so before I end, I just want to leave you guys with this simple metaphor, right? The iceberg metaphor. As a coach, okay, improve your public speaking skills so that you can join the top 5% of all the coaches who stand out, right? There are many coaches without clients. There are many coaches we don't know of. They are amazing coaches, but we've never heard of them, right? Because they don't stand out. They don't stand out. They don't put themselves out there. But if you have that public speaking skills, then at least you are equipped. When you're given that opportunity, you seize it because you are trained to do it. And you say yes to challenges. Okay, so that puts you already at the top. Okay, and people can see you. You are conspicuous at the top of the iceberg instead of below the surface. All right. And if you're interested to know how you can also take your public speaking skills to the next level and be a public speaking coach yourself, I'd like to invite you to check out this particular program that we have by Coaching Changes Lives, right? It's called the PPSP, right? Professional Public Speaking Practitioner Certification. I'd like to invite you to just take your phone and just scan this QR code here, right? It will lead you to an Eventbrite page for you to know more about this particular program, right? I will be the trainer for this program, and it's only going to be about 2 days. It's a 2 days live, okay? And it's only going to be 3 hours each for both days, all right? So if you're interested and you want to start your journey in public speaking, take your skills to the next level, this is a good place for you to start. Right? It will leverage the skills that you already have as coaches, and we will use the skills that you already have as coaches, see how you can translate it into public speaking. So you won't come into this program with zero, right? Because as coaches, you already have certain things, and we will talk about those skills, how we can translate it into public speaking, and how you can coach your your coaches or your clients or your mentees in public speaking, even without the public speaking experience. Right, this is very relevant for me because I've never actually given a TED Talk. I've never done so before, but I've trained TEDx speakers and they have done their TED Talk. It's very funny. But they approach me, come and ask me to train them. And I was like, I've never given a TED Talk before. Or I said, we don't need you to give a TED Talk, but we want your skills, or we want you to teach us how to do it. I say, okay, right? And in coaching, we know that we don't have to be a domain expert to coach, right? But it would help if you have that experience and the skills. All right. Final note. The final note that I want to leave you guys with is this. Opportunity doesn't make appointments, but you have to be ready when it arrives. Throughout my entire life, when it comes to public speaking, I've taken sort of a martial arts approach whereby I go and learn all the skills, but I don't want to get myself into a fight. You know, I don't want to have to, have to be in a situation where I need to protect my own life and I need to protect someone else, or I'm in that harm. But I want to be able to know that if I am in such a position, I know how to defend myself. Same thing for public speaking. Okay, when Suresh gave me that opportunity, he said, Hyder, would you be open to share this on this topic with the coaches community? Right? What if I say no? I don't want. Okay, if I listened to my fear, I would have rejected him. Okay, but it's because I know I'm ready. I know I'm trained to do this. It was a yes for me. It's a no-brainer. Okay, and it can be the same for you as well as a coach. When people ask you to, hey, can you speak at ICW? Can you speak at ICF this, ICF Singapore? Can you speak at ICF US? Right? People invite you. The last thing you want to do is to say no, not yet. I'm not ready. Okay, and the best thing you can do for yourself is to be proactive, to start now. Okay, and to start small in the process of mastery. All right, and with that, I end off my segment for today, and I will open up for Q&A. Thank you so much for your kind attention. I really, really appreciate all of you playing full out in this segment with me. Right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Hyder. Coaches, let's give a big round of applause to Hyder for such a powerful, wonderful session today. Morning, Saturday. That's pumping up our weekend. Really appreciate that, Hyder. There are a bunch of questions. James is going to kind of get them across to you. Before we get into the questions, can I ask everyone to turn on their cameras? I will take a very nice, beautiful picture. And respecting whatever that we have learned in the last hour or so, adjust your cameras, sit up straight, at the level, get ready, and we can take a very nice photo. Those who are not on cameras, if you can, please turn on your cameras just for 30 seconds. I'll just take a quick one. Look at the cameras, 1, 2, and 3. Some funny faces, well, not funny faces. We are professional public speaking trained coaches. So let's do something more professional. Thumbs up or whatever. Another one. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you. Over to you, James, for lovely questions that were flowing in during the session.
Okay. So first and foremost, thank you, Hyder. What a fantastic session. Definitely learned a lot. And due to my being very present with your session, I lost track of the questions, especially as there was a lot of interactivity within the chat box. So
I have all of them just in case if there's anything missing out, I can call them out, don't worry.
Okay, so I noted that Jasmine had 4, Braille had 4 questions. I think the first one was, will we get a copy of the slides? And I guess there's a recording anyway, so it sort of negates itself. Can I ask, instead of me trying to remember, can I ask Jasmine to, and we'll go around in order very quickly. So you have about 30 seconds to ask a question if you need that. So Jasmine, any particular questions that you haven't had answered that you would like to present, please?
Yes, I do have a different question from what I have typed. Out of the 4 areas that Hyder mentioned to improve the 4 Ps, how to know which P to work on? I know you did a demo and then you get everybody to put in what they think of Braille's area to improve and what is a strength. But if we are doing this alone, how would we know which one we should work on first?
All right, very great question. In fact, this question is a question that's very close to my heart. How do we know which one to work on? Pace, pitch, projection, pauses. All right. Here's the cold truth. The cold truth is you can't level up in public speaking by yourself. You need feedback. You need an audience feedback, or you need someone's feedback, a coach, a mentor, a trainer to give you that feedback, or simply someone who's listening to you. Your family members, right? Everyone here is more than equipped to give you that feedback about what they think, right, is better for you. Now, when it comes to feedback as well, right, you have to also know that just because somebody say, oh, you should speak faster, doesn't mean you must speak faster. Okay? And that is why when you do more and more public speaking, you want to have different feedback from different people and also from people who are trained. Okay? A mentor. I would say a mentor is the most important. Another way is you can join a public speaking community or a speakers community. They will tell you upfront, like, okay, I think you can work on your pauses more, or I think you can work on this more, right? And then incorporate it into your style, and then try again. See whether there's an improvement. See whether the people say, oh, yes, I think you did a lot better now, right? So here's the thing. When I was 15 years old, the reason why I gave a 5-minute speech in 1 minute is because for months, I practiced in front of a mirror. That's it. No feedback. I didn't ask my English teacher for feedback. I didn't ask my mother for feedback. I didn't ask my friends for feedback. I practiced by myself in front of a mirror. So I didn't know I was speaking too fast. Okay, because when I was practicing, I thought I hit the 5-minute mark. But when I go up onto the podium, because I was so nervous and I was speaking to an audience for the first time ever, then my pace suddenly increased. All right, and that can happen. So that is where, to answer your question, Jasmine, get feedback, right? Get feedback from more people and from the right people, right? So quality and quantity matters.
Thank you, Hyder. Just so it's Celeste, you have a question. Can you read your question out?
Yeah, so I was wondering like how can we work on our projection and projecting our voice if let's say we are using like a normal earpiece rather than a professional mic? Does it affect the way that we want to project our voice and the way people are hearing us?
Okay. Now this one you can present alone. Okay, this one you can practice alone. Very simple. Go to your Zoom meeting and record yourself. Practice with different mics and practice with different equipment. See which one is the best. Does this one have interference? Does this one have this? Right? Listen back to your own recording. Do you sound nice? Okay, practice with a professional mic versus a very simple $13 mic. Is there a difference? Or your laptop mic. Okay, so this one you can test out for yourself. All right, and if you want extra feedback, of course, the best is get someone else in the Zoom room with you to let them to test it out with you. Oh, does it sound good? That's right. It's just like that. Okay, hope that helps, Celeste.
Sorry, can I?
One more.
Yeah, I think to follow up this question is also more like regarding the projection. There are times where, like what I mean is like there are times where people say that there's this tendency of like maybe just for me, right? I tend to swallow my words. So I guess that's what I'm actually trying to ask, like regarding the projection. How do we make sure that it's projecting out rather than projecting in? Yeah.
Okay. I would think that projecting in is a bit of an oxymoron because when you project something, it's already out. Okay. So if let's say you have a tendency to maybe swallow your voice, or maybe you tend to gulp and do all these things, this is only something that you want to take note of if sufficient people give you feedback that, hey, you keep doing that, right? Or you ask for feedback. Do you notice that when I present, I had certain tweaks, or I use the word now too much, or I use the word like too much? Okay, I use a lot of filler words too much, or I stumble upon my words. Now, if this is a problem, right, this is where you want to ask people for feedback after your presentations. Did I have all this? If they say, no, I didn't notice it, then that's a good thing, right? It means it's only in your head. Okay, at the end of the day, what is the audience hearing? You may hear a totally different thing. You can tell yourself, oh, I did a poor job. I forgot my speech. I forgot this slide. I forgot this point. But your audience does not know that you forgot a portion of your speech or your presentation. They will only take in whatever that they take in. Okay.
Thank you, Hyder. We have Braille, a question, and then Agnes, if she has one, Danny and Wilson.
If I can only ask one question, then would be the question that Hyder was supposed to share the 3 things he did to accelerate his own public speaking. So I'm just going back to something that he hasn't completed.
Okay, we'll come back to that then if we can.
So then that's not my question then, right? So I can get one more
She
question.
still can redeem the question.
I can still redeem. So my main question is actually in terms of pace, right? So in coaching, we match the pace of our clients. Now, in public speaking, because there's so many people in the audience and everybody is at a different pace, what do you suggest from a pace perspective? I mean, where do you take that line from? Is it from the audience, or is it from the emphasis of what you want to say, or what are the guidelines?
Okay, so here's the thing. There are no clear guidelines. All right, so this is something you need to establish first. There are no clear guidelines. Everyone has different preference. Some people like speakers who speak faster. Some people like speakers who speak slow. Now, that I would rather err on the side of speaking too slow than speaking too fast. Okay, because if you speak too fast, right, people cannot catch. But if you speak too slow, then the worst is people get bored, but at least they catch whatever you're trying to say. Right? If you speak too slow, people can listen back to your recording and put it on 1.25 times or 1.5 times speed or 2 times speed. Okay, if they feel bored, they can do that. Right? But if you're speaking too fast, I would say this is more dangerous. Okay, because especially if you're talking to, let's say, a Western context or other cultures who may not be very familiar with your accent, and you're speaking too quickly and they cannot catch you, that is a problem, because your audience will tend to not say. The audience will tend to not say that you're speaking too fast. They will just be like turned off by it, and they will turn off their video and they start turning off everything. Turn off, turn off, turn off. Okay, and people start dropping out of the Zoom room if they find, okay, because people are not entitled to, you're not entitled to their attention. All right. So I would say err on the side of speaking too slow than speaking too fast.
Hyder, are you okay to stay on for
I'm okay.
an extra 5 or 10 minutes? Suresh has to go and walk his dog, so have a good day, bro.
I need to. I got a couple of things, and once again, thank you very much, Hyder. I'm going to miss the tail end of whatever that is going to be covered here. Hopefully, well,
it's recorded.
Probably my recording should capture still, hopefully. And there are a couple of questions, and enjoy, and thanks to the rest of the team here. Lovely engagement. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Catch you all soon.
See
you.
Bye-bye.
See you, bro.
Bye.
Okay, Agnes, do you still have a question?